For the last 12 to 13 years of my life, I've spent an outrageous amount of time playing video games, going quest by quest, round through round, trial by trial. I've completed many games and dropped many as well. I've been permanently banned on games where I had very expensive in-game items. I've experienced a lot when it comes to video games, but the one thing I haven't done is create a backlog. For those who don't know, Backlog is essentially a list of games someone owns but has not finished or started at all. This list isn't technically a backlog according to that description because I do not own a majority of these games, but I don't really care. In this video, I'll be showing you guys 18 games I plan to play in 2025. I will go into why I plan on playing these games, an estimate on when I plan on playing them, and if I believe I will finish or drop the game. There is no order for this list. This is also not a challenge to try and complete all these games this year. After this video goes up, the list will probably grow bigger. I just wanted to create a backlog and share it with you guys. Realistically, I'll probably finish about 10 of these games at most during the year. On that note, this video will be going up in January of 2025. Sometime during January 2026, I'll make a follow-up video basically just talking about how far I got. I know that's very far away, but it's something for me to look forward to. Without wasting any more time, let's get into the list. Hey guys, in the middle of editing this, 3 more games have been added to the list, and I thought this is the perfect spot to tell you guys about them. Those 3 games being God of War Ragnarok Valhalla, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and Baldur's Gate 3. Now, I have never played Valhalla before, and I think now would be the perfect time to play it. It's about a 5-hour DLC, I believe, so I just want to get that out of the way. Baldur's Gate 3, to be honest, I thought you needed like 4 to 8 people to play that, but apparently you can play it solo, so I'm going to play that because it looks fun. Mass Effect Legendary Edition was highly recommended to me by my friend, and I mean, when I mean highly recommended, like, this is like his top 1 game of all time. So I'm gonna give it a shot. Alright, let's get back to the video. First on the list is The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 is one of the most popular open world RPGs to ever release. This is a game I've dropped twice now. My first attempt was back in December 2019, and I got about 20 hours in. Everything was going well until I decided to start Red Dead Redemption 2. It was Christmas and I had Christmas money to spend. What's funny about this is that my friend who was also playing Red Dead Redemption 2 at the time said that if I started it now, I probably would not finish The Witcher 3. And he was correct. My second attempt with this game was recent. I spent some time during the summer replaying the first hour or 2 of this game, only to stop after reuniting with Yennefer. I plan on starting again from the same save very soon. By the time this video goes up, I'll have most likely started playing again. I do believe this is a game I'll finish. 3rd time's the charm. Next on the list is a Bethesda classic. Fallout 4 is a game that has been sitting in my Steam library since 2018 with a solid 3 hours logged into it. I've been meaning to play this for a while, but it's continued to get neglected. With the substantial amount of time I've invested into Skyrim, half of it being recent, it dawned on me that I should really consider giving Fallout another try. One of my friends who has over 500 hours in Fallout 4 also highly recommended I play it, so this is a game I would like to start this year. This is something I would most likely plan on playing after The Witcher 3 or even before. I don't know yet. I do believe this is a game I will finish. The next game on the list is a game I am very hyped for and something I really hope does not get delayed. Doom: The Dark Ages is a highly anticipated sequel of Doom Eternal, and it is set to release sometime in 2025. I was pleasantly surprised by the trailer, and it seems that the game takes place in the past, before Eternal, before 2016, and I assume before the original games. With the way Eternal turned out, I have very, very high expectations for this game. I will definitely finish this game. Let's just hope it doesn't suffer from any delays. As for when I plan on playing it, whenever it releases. Next game on the list is Dragon Age Inquisition. A YouTuber by the name of Morgan's Basement made a video on this game and did a perfect job introducing his audience to this game. I don't know much about the story or the lore of this game, but I'm a huge fan of fantasy RPGs. And ones like Dragon Age, where you can customize your character, your party, and make choices that matter, are amusing. This game also seems to have third-person gameplay as well as top-down combat, which is unique and nothing I've experienced before. And shout out to Morgan's Basement, because if it wasn't for this video, I would not have known of this game's existence. Morgan's Basement makes videos where he focuses on obtaining the hardest achievement in video games, 100%ing them, as well as completing hard challenges. I highly recommend checking out his channel. I have no idea when I would start this game and if I would complete it, but it is a game I would like to try. Next on the list is Silent Hill 2. I know absolutely nothing about this game, or the series in general, but what appeals to me is how it's similar to the Resident Evil remakes. The over-the-shoulder camera, horror, puzzles, you get the gist. I spent a couple months last year playing through all of the Resident Evil remakes, and it was a pleasurable time in my life. Resident Evil 4 in particular was very fulfilling. I'm hoping Silent Hill 2 will give me a similar feeling the Resident Evil remakes did, and that's why I plan to play it. This is something I would like to play soon, but I'm not a fan of that $70 price tag, so who knows. And I don't know how long Silent Hill 2 is, but it's definitely a game I would finish. Next on the list is a game a viewer recommended to me, Kingdom Come Deliverance. This looks like Skyrim without the magic and otherworldly creatures. This is another game that I know relatively nothing about, but I'm a huge fan of medieval settings, which so happens to be the setting of this place. What I like about games like Skyrim and The Witcher 3 is its medieval setting. The difference between those games and Kingdom Come Deliverance is how KCD is more realistic. No magic, no demons, no hot elf girls. I'm interested to see if I'll enjoy a game that has a medieval aspect, but no supernatural ones. This next game is an interesting one because it's a game I've already played through twice. A YouTuber who goes by the name Dropped Ice Cream posted a video titled The Best Roleplay and Immersion Mods for Cyberpunk 2077. Yes, I plan to do another full playthrough of Cyberpunk this year. I was watching this video late at night, and every mod this guy mentioned makes Cyberpunk more immersive. For example, a survival system mod was added where you have to actively monitor via sleep, hunger, and thirst. If you go too long without eating or sleeping, it'll lower your HP. I have experimented with this mod before in one of my previous saves and wasn't a fan of it at the time, but doing a more immersive playthrough, this would be a mod I would like to try again. There are about 50 mods in this list that make Cyberpunk more immersive, and I plan to install all of them and do a full playthrough of this game. That means completing every quest line and single quests, every gig, and possibly every NCPD scanner. My original plan was to start this in the summer, but it really depends on how I feel. Either this summer or not until next fall. Assuming I like this mod list, this would be something I could complete. It might take 120 hours, but I'm willing to give it a shot. The next game on the list is Starfield. I've had my eyes on this game since it came out. I did not buy it immediately, and I'm glad. Starfield harbors a lot of mixed feelings. From the many bugs, to the quantity over quality feeling the game gives off, I have been keeping a sharp eye on this game, wondering when something would change. Whether that's a solid price drop or a change in its Steam rating. I personally don't have high expectations for this game, but it seems like it can still be fun. Just not worth $70. If the opportunity arises and Starfield has a decent sale, I might be willing to give it a shot. The next game on the list is a game from a genre I've never played before. Blasphemous is a Metroidvania game highly recommended to me by a friend, and I have no idea what the term Metroidvania even means. Alright, so I just looked it up. It's a subgenre of action-adventure games. Metroidvanias are semi-linear 2D platforming RPGs. Alright, so maybe I have a little experience with the genre. Pixelated aesthetic Blasphemous has really appeals to me, and after watching the gameplay trailer, it's definitely a game worth trying. As for when, I do not know. I know in the beginning of the video, I said I would give an estimate for when I would play all these games, but I've come to the realization that I really don't have a clue. Next game. Until Dawn. I've watched a Let's Play on this game back when it first released and played the first 2 hours of it myself back on the PlayStation 5 back in 2021 or 2022. I don't remember. I've forgotten how most of the story unfolds, and I've always wanted to play a story-rich game where my choices genuinely matter. Having to carefully choose how I play in order to have all the characters survive seems like a fun challenge. This is something I could be willing to start now with the Christmas sale going on, but that would intrude on my Witcher 3 playthrough, so I don't know. Since we're on the topic of story-rich games, the next game we're going to talk about is Detroit Become Human. Another game I've watched a Let's Play on and have played the first 2 to 3 hours myself back on the PlayStation 5. Now some of you might be wondering, why not just play these on the PlayStation 5? Until Dawn was a game I had access to only when my brother was paying for PlayStation Plus, and I'm pretty sure that was the same case for Detroit Become Human. I also just prefer gaming on my PC, and I have an ultra-wide monitor that I would prefer to utilize. This is also a game I could plan on playing soon. It's already gone on sale twice, and I have not seized that opportunity. Playing this or Until Dawn late at night during Christmas break could be a vibe. Dragon's Dogma 2 is another game I've been wanting to play for some time now, but it sits in the same boat as Starfield. A $70 game riddled with bugs and mixed reviews. The main problem I see with this game is that it seems to be very poorly optimized, and I'm just not willing to spend $70 on a game with mixed reviews. I believe I have seen this game on sale for a whopping $35, but I've just never pulled the trigger. I honestly don't know much about the game aside from the fact that it's another medieval fantasy game. With a little more research, a Steam sale, and maybe some optimization fixes, this is a game I would love to play. There are 6 more games I'm going to talk about on this list. Besides Cyberpunk, I've played through one of these games twice already. Can you guess what game that is?
You get to the Cloud District very often. Oh, what am I saying? Of course you don't.
Girls, dogs, elders. There's nobody I won't fight.
Ascended from the dung of mythology. Now,
Do you get to the Cloud District very often? Oh no.
By the gods!
By the gods!
This can't
be happening!
Victory is yours! I submit!
let me
What do you need?
the power of Talos storm proud, born of the north, where my dread is lost.
Ah yes, Skyrim. Every other person's favorite fantasy RPG. Any returning viewers know how I feel about Skyrim. I want to do another playthrough of Skyrim this year, and the reason behind that is because I want to earn every single achievement the game has. I am currently sitting at 66 out of 75 achievements the game has to offer. And while I could just load up my current save and finish these achievements, this gives me an excuse to start a new save. This is like the last thing I'd probably do, because I just did a playthrough of Skyrim in the summer, and spent a little more time in that save a couple weeks prior to writing the script, so I need a break if I want to enjoy a new playthrough. Next game on the list is The Last of Us Part 1. I have a hard copy of this game for the PS5 sitting on my bookshelf right now. Everyone watching this is going to yell at me, but I plan on buying this game for my PC. That's basically all I have to say. I have no idea when I plan to play this, but I think I could finish it. Unless it's ass. The next game I want to talk about is Stalker 2: Heart of Chernobyl. And shout out once again to Morgan's Basement. This wasn't originally going to be part of the script, but in the middle of writing this, he dropped an absolute banger of a video on Stalker 2. It seems like an amazing game. It gives off a mix of Dying Light and Far Cry. This is honestly something I would like to start soon after watching the video, but I'll see how I'm feeling later. Could be recency bias since I just watched it. As for finishing it, to be honest, it seems like one of those games that's fun at first but gets boring fast. I know I probably just angered half the people watching by saying that, but that's just my opinion. This next game is a very unique game. Dare I say one of a kind. Evil West takes 2 polar opposite genres and says, fuck it, let's add them together. Every time I see this game pop up on Steam, it just leaves me in awe at the fact that this is a full-fledged game. I don't know much about it, but it looks like it takes place in the Wild West, but then there's aliens or demons? The devs did not give a fuck and I'm all for it. This is honestly one of the last games I would play on this list, and I don't know if I'd finish it. I'd have to do a little more research into the plot and possibly look at some gameplay before considering this one, but it looks interesting from the pictures. The second to last game I want to talk about is also a unique game in my opinion. Witchfire is a FPS, roguelite, Souls-like fantasy game where you play as a witch hunter? Sold. This is another game I know very little about, but after reviewing the gameplay trailer, it caught my interest. This is one of the many games on this list that I have an interest in, but not enough to plan out a time to play it. We have finally made it to the final game on the list. If you made it this far, consider liking and subscribing. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the final game I plan to play in 2025.
Oh, death. Become my blade once more.
This is something I consider more of a project than a playthrough. Games like Elden Ring, where you can fight the same boss over and over again for hours before beating it, is something I can find enjoyable, but it depends on the time. If I'm spending most of my day working or in school and have little time to relax afterwards, I don't want to spend that time fighting Radahn. A proper playthrough requires a lot of time and patience. This past summer, I spent some time playing Stellar Blade and Black Myth Wukong. Both of those games required a lot of patience learning bosses' fight patterns, looking through guides for certain items, that kind of stuff. I don't mind having to look online for guides or do side quests to get better gear before a boss fight because it's actually kind of fun, but I would rather do something like that during the summer when I have more free time and less stress. The whole grinding X amount of hours for slightly better gear is fun, but not when I have a limited time to play. Now that we've covered all the games I plan to play in 2025, let's talk about when I plan to play these games. I briefly mentioned an estimate for every game, but I'm going to go a little more in depth, and just a little. First off are the games I want to play immediately. That would include The Witcher 3, Fallout 4, Stalker 2, and Detroit Become Human. The Witcher 3 and Fallout 4 have been on the back burner for a while, and I think now is a good time to get started on one of them. The other two games have recently caught my eye and look very enjoyable. By the time this video goes up, I'll have started one of these games. The next group of games are games I would probably start in the summer. That includes Elden Ring, Skyrim, and Cyberpunk 2077. These three games can easily take over 100 hours each to complete, if not more. Playing these games during the summer, when I will have about a month off from school, will give me plenty of time to enjoy them. And due to the fact that I've already played through Skyrim and Cyberpunk twice, Elden Ring is looking like the main option. That's honestly all I know at this point. I have no idea when I'll play any of the other games on the list, and that's fine. I think I'd go a little crazy if I planned a specific time for every single one, and that doesn't sound fun. I want to remind everybody that I have no intention of finishing this list or completing it as a challenge. I made this list for fun, and it would be cool to see how far I can get. I mentioned in the beginning of the video that this video will be going up in January of 2025, and I plan to make a follow-up video in January of 2026, simply updating you all on how it went. During this year, I will keep track of what games I start, finish, and drop. I will rate them out of 10 and write a little tidbit on how I felt about each game. And that concludes my 2025 backlog. If you have any questions about the list or any suggested games I should add, feel free to leave a comment. Thank you all for watching, and until next time.
Nasty hit! You alright, behind you, brother! someone in Backlog! On your right! Behind you, brother!